Then we have two musical acts for you guys. You can see the guitars over there. I have not heard them, so I'm assuming they're good. And then afterwards, we have PowerPoint karaoke, since no one else wants to sing or dance for us. About a half a dozen of you have signed up in the back. I don't know how many of you are going to follow through. If you want to still do PowerPoint karaoke, come see me in this corner, and we will set you up. Basically, I created a bunch of slides that will be randomized for you. Okay, so are we ready to go with the first Ignite presentation? Yeah? Where did she go? Oh, you're right there. Okay, so you can introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, good evening everyone. I'm Wee Ling. I'm from Uberall. It's my first stream and I'm the first one out here, so it's a little bit stressful. I hope I need a lot of pardoning on stage. So yeah, I'm ready to start. All right, so today I'm going to talk to you about voice search. And the reason why I'm talking to you about voice search is the fact that it already makes up 20% of all Google search as reported in 2016. And this number is going to go up to 50% by 2020, right? And this is a lot of search that goes on the internet using our voice. What exactly is the difference between voice search and normal search? In essence, there is not a lot that is different. What is different is the fact that instead of typing it out, we are using our voice to command a query. And that means it gets more conversational. And when it gets more conversational, I don't go typing pizza restaurant, but I say, hey, Alexa, can you book me a restaurant this Saturday, 7 p.m. for 6 people? Right? It gets longer. There are multiple keywords that's captured within one single query. What do people use voice search? It's efficient. Some people think it's really cool talking to devices. But at the end of the day, multitasking, right? If you're driving, I'm navigating somewhere and I need to be hands-free. I'm talking to my navigation system. I'm talking to my mobile phone. Where can I buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, right? But if I were to flip it around, how about someone who's visually handicapped? How about my relative who's illiterate, can't really spell? They need to depend on your voice to make a search, right? And we have enabled them with voice assistants. But what do the voice assistants do? They come up with just one single answer when they search for something. What does this mean then for all of us here who are advertisers? We can't deliver sponsored results out to these consumers, right? So, PPC. Are we contemplating something we call right now as in pay-per-consent? Because you need the consent of your audience to push them something, right? What we believe is the way to go forward is actually back to basics. Why do people search? They want something organic. I want to click on something organic and not something advertised. And it's really not that tough to enable your clients to do something like that. It's all about relevant, structured content out on the web where people are looking for information, right? You want to make sure that you have all that people are looking for, multiple keywords captured in one. So what we have done at my company is that we have gone about on a voice search study. We've done a research. We did a research with 73,000 business locations based in the US. And we found something actually quite shocking. 96% of them are not optimized for voice search. That is a lot of potential that they're missing out on. And this is where we can step in and help businesses to optimize for what people are increasingly searching for on. And it's something very simple. It's about targeting a few of these platforms, Google, Yelp, Bing, powering Siri, powering Cortana, powering Google, and powering Alexa. You just need to make sure that you have the right content out there. And hopefully, when the next time the driver speaks to his phone in the car, and say, hey, Ben and Jerry's ice cream, it will direct you to an Alphamart. And this is the greatest way to get yourself a sale. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We built an app last year with voice search, so we definitely know the value of it. It's also not easy to build. Okay, number 2, Derek, come on up and wow us about brand storytelling.
Yep. So I'm Derek. I'm one of the co-founders of Vidsi. We're based in Singapore, but we have office here in Jakarta, Manila, KL as well also. So I wanted to share a little bit about what I've learned in stream with regards to, I guess, content and branded storytelling, and kind of like put that in relation to what I've done as a platform called Vidsi. But just a very quick introduction. Vidsi, we're a video entertainment platform. We work with filmmakers all across Asia to actually submit their content on our platform and basically drive curation and marketing of content to our audience across the world. And we believe that filmmakers are fundamentally storytellers of the community. So there's a lot of rich kind of like stories coming out from individual storytellers like this. And we want to empower them to kind of do stuff. So one of the things I've learned, I guess, is there was a Indonesia cinema kind of session as well also, is that movies are a great way not just only to entertain, but to engage and drive action. And this is some of the things that I've learned, is that people don't really remember facts, but emotions is something that really kind of like drives and captivates your audience when you deliver a certain message to them through stories. Let's go next one. It's not necessarily just 6 seconds. We realize that people do engage with longer form content as long as they kind of like come in with a very compelling story. And out of the compelling story, they are looking at emotional complexity. So when you look at stories, right, it brings you through a journey. It brings you through different emotions. So sometimes an ad is not just something that just makes you laugh or makes you cry, but it's really bringing you through that journey itself that kind of engages with the audience. The other thing I learned is actually the relationship with the audience and the characters. So characters in films must have conflict. So, we've got this thing around working mother and her sick child. So it's, driving a certain target audience through the film itself. And I think finally, films are not just for entertainment, it really kind of comes in to drive conversations. So it's a great way to get a message across through films and through stories itself. Next. The second thing I've learned was this concept around data-driven kind of like content. I thought it was really interesting. I kind of wanted to lay that back to how I think about data. Data is a whole bunch of numbers that we get within our own platforms. Yes, you see how many people watches that content, how long they watch. But I think that's not the key information that we're trying to drive at. I think what we want to do out of the data is to actually extract what we call kind of like insights. And through that insights, we actually develop knowledge. So this was something that we did with Maxstream out here in Indonesia, was that we analyzed males who were very much watching rom-com content, and from there we actually produced a rom-com show for Telkomsel using the data on the platform. The last thing is actually around this idea of a consistent plot over the stories. So this idea of just being very, creating a very integrated kind of like production and consistent story for marketing. And I think one thing that came about in one of the conversations was around Marvel Cinematic Universe. So being very consistent, one big arc, but there can be smaller arcs through the stories itself. And how do you kind of create that content universe? I put that back to something that we did for Cornetto, creating kind of like a big story for them, but then actually working to create smaller moments out of that bigger advertising to drive relationship with the audience. So yeah, that's my 4 minutes on what we learned. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. I have to turn this into many award entries this year. Next up, we have Joe. He's going to talk to us about refugees.
just a bit of advice for the virgins. It's a bit pitchy so far. Well, I will as soon as the clock to start. Don't feel sorry for refugees. You've got, you've seen pictures of people crossing borders. You've seen pictures of people, marching down stuff. You're like, don't feel sorry for them. Who are these people? Right? Are they from Syria? Are they from Iraq? Are they from Peru? Are they from Venezuela? What's going on? Why do you, what's the connection? And they're taking over. This is foreign-born residents, excluding Mexico. They're taking over the country. Like, if you're a conservative populist in America, you're like, what the hell? They're taking our jobs. It's sure, they want a better education for their kids. Sure, they want all this stuff, but they're taking our jobs, right? Fucking refugees, right? But then, what is a refugee, right? So, in 51, the Geneva Convention, UNHCR, defined a refugee as a person legally defined as a person outside his or her country of nationality, unable to return due to fear of persecution because of race, ethnicity, religion, nationality, political opinion. They actually are in a position where they can't go back. You cannot compare a refugee to a migrant. And this is, the migrants are going because they want a better job, right? They want a better life and everything. But a refugee is someone who cannot go back. Compassion isn't empathy or feeling sorry for someone. It's about understanding the position that they're in. So what does that mean? Who are these people? And, why should I feel for them? And what's the difference between a refugee and a migrant, right? They're not. It's life and death. If they go back, they'll be persecuted. They could be interred, jailed, or killed, right? Madeleine Albright, refugee from Czechoslovakia, she didn't have a choice, right? It was communist Czechoslovakia after World War II. She left because she had to. It's persecution. This is a picture of a boat, Vietnam, 1970s, 25 meters, 500 people on this boat going to escaping Vietnam after the war. What does 500 people mean? This is about 400 people on a boat. Not the same boat, obviously, right? But you don't do this unless it is life and death, right? You don't get on a boat like this, trying to cross an ocean. This girl was on that first boat. She went to America when she was 10. She's now a doctor. She's has her own practice. And she also happens to be my sister. I was on this boat with her, right? I was 8 at the time, spent a year in Malaysia in a refugee camp. I was a refugee, right? And all I can say at this point is, if you feel for refugees, if you have compassion, then welcome refugees. Don't feel sorry for us. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That was very good. And the only reason why I'm laughing is because our next guest is a little bit nervous. And not only is he nervous, he has to follow that one up. So
Not going to happen.
let's give Krishna a warm welcome.
This story has nothing to do with me. Right. I want to talk about how much you can improve something, because we're in the business of new and improved, right? How much can you improve something before it really needs to be new, right? And if you know me, you know that this has to be about planes. So what we're going to talk about is the Boeing 737, right? You know what happened here in Indonesia and then in Ethiopia, And I've been doing some research into why that happened. And it's much deeper than we all thought. Now, let me tell you about the Boeing 737, right? In April 52 years ago, it flew for the first time. There are about 10,000 of these planes flying as we speak. And anytime you will be on one, on any flight you take in Southeast Asia. Now, the one in that corner is the one that they released first, right? I want you to notice the size of the engine and the size of the plane. And then 9 versions later, see how much bigger it is, right? This is important because that'll tell you what Boeing did next. What they should have done is say, we've pushed the design far enough, let's stop, right? It's time to announce NSA. NSA is new small aircraft, meaning you start from scratch, redesign it from the ground up. Then comes American Airlines. In 2011, American Airlines announced that they're going to buy 400 aircraft. And Airbus had just announced the Neo. And Boeing went, oh shit, we have nothing to sell them, right? So they decided, you know what? Are we really done with the 737? Maybe we can pull it out of the bag again. So they went back to the drawing board and they started again. Remember, we're down here. And why I've come back to this is because I want you to see how different that is from this before I show you what's next. All right? So we're going to next look at the distance of the engines from the ground. Fully loaded, it's less than 1.5 feet from the ground, right? The bottom of the engine. So what happens in that situation when you put a bigger engine on the aircraft, right? It'll hit the ground. So what are you going to do? Let's move the engine way forward from the wing and further out. And anyone who's thrown any form of ball in the air knows that when you change the weight of something, it flies differently. Aerodynamics changes. Center of gravity changes. When my belly gets bigger, I fall forwards, right? Now look at this. See the difference between where that engine is in correlation to the aircraft. So what happens is when this thing runs down the runway, the engine behaves like another aircraft. The engine has lift of its own. So what does that do? It's pushing the nose up. And that's why they had to include something that forces the nose down. And we all know what the MCAS did to both those aircraft, right? So the problem with this aircraft and the learning from it for all of us is when you feel that something has run its course, when you feel that, okay, we've pushed this far enough, we've improved this soap enough, this formula enough, just stop and start again. Thank you.
That wasn't too bad. Before I introduce our next guest, I just want to remind you, if you are going to do PowerPoint karaoke, come see me. I have slides. You're going to get 10 slides, 15 seconds. We'll give you a topic, and then you can regale us with some kind of made-up story based on what the slides are. So it's really fun. Come talk to me over there. Our next guest, and I already forgot how to pronounce your name.
Shunithro.
Shunithro. Oh, okay. So next guy up, Shunithro is going to talk to you about being the odd one.
Apologies in advance because I'm terrified and I have a lot of alcohol in my system. Today I'm going to be talking about the power of being the odd one out. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I'm gay. I mean, a lot of you must have figured with the shoes and... But I'm a gay man in India, which is a pretty homophobic country. Which is strange because, look at that, that's also pretty gay. But the thing with gay men in India is that we learn to live with some very irrational fears. Fear of being bullied, fear of being ridiculed, fear of being made fun of for the way you talk, the way you walk, the way we use our hands. I mean, that's not even me being gay, that's me being a very animated Indian. So over time, I've learned that the only way to tackle this fear is by being visible, because that's how you trump fear. And when a lot of people say it gets better, that's so incorrect, because you need to make it better. How do you make it better? By being here, talking to people, by engaging in discourse with rationale and logic. And I do this because I walk prides every year. Why do I do that? I do that so that in the future, none of us have to. I stand here at Stream talking about this is terrifying for me because it's so personal. I do that because that's not a gay man. I am. That's a very different idea of a gay man. I do that because in Stream 2020, I want no one to talk about this topic because it needs to be so commonplace. Because I've often asked myself at every job I've been at, how gay is okay? How gay should I be? And that's such a terrifying thing to say. And that's been my experience, and it all changed with the right place. I work at The Glitch. That's the place I work at. And that's the thing that all of us as a community look for. A place that galvanizes for you. Mentors that understand you and empower you, and peers that do the same. And that reminds me of an incident a couple of years ago, 10 years back, where I was looked over for a job. And I was told, inside sources, that the interview went well, but I didn't get the job because I was too much. Today, I would take that as a compliment, and I would say, stop, you're too much. But I realized that it's a shorthand for you are not enough. You're not capable enough. You're not regular enough. You're not man enough. And that's when I realized that it's okay to be different. And I said, screw that. I will be who I am. It's okay to live in a world of single malts and Chardonnays and be, wait for it, a flaming cosmopolitan. And that's incredibly powerful. There is immense power in a world where a warrior can be a queen and a boy can be a princess. There is immense power where boys don't have to pick blue and girls don't have to pick pink. And it all changes when we say 3 words to ourselves. And I'm very sure everyone in this audience, every boy, girl, man, woman, has faced this term, not enough. You're not forthcoming enough. You're not aggressive enough. You're not emotionless enough. It starts with these 3 words. I am enough. That's it. Thank you.
So, I'm not gonna lie, my KPI was to get warm bodies up here. I'm quite pleasantly surprised by the quality of our presentation so far. Because I saw your name. I am to give you a quick announcement. There is alcohol in the back corner. So go get a drink, and I'm sure the last 3 presentations will be even better. So Ravi is going to come up and talk to us about happiness.
Hi. Oh. Hi. This is the stage has gotten bigger, so yeah, that I have. Okay, so I'm going to talk about happiness and how each of us need to find your happy. And that's possible. I had some cynics at the dinner table, and I'm supposed to convince them. So bear with me. This is probably the only time I will quote Tay, but this resonated with me. So Taylor Swift for the ones ill-advised. So I think in life we are thrown curveballs all the time. So you got to find your groove and dance to that groove, and understand that it's going to be some days people taking away your happiness, people taking away your positivity, people putting pressures that are unnecessary, parents, spouses, kids. I respect that. That's part of life, that's part of my life as well. But what happens is we overthink. And one of the biggest medical issues that adolescents have today is depression. So we as adults need to avoid this, because overthinking leads to more depression and nothing positive. So I have a little theory or a little, pep talk I give myself every time I walk down a path of, let's say, darkness. And I say that it's in myself, it's within me to find my happy. So it's a simple theory. I call it the donut theory. Right at the middle is stuff I can influence and I can control. And we all recognize this. This is things that you can, you can set the music, you can set the tone, you can set the pace, you can set expectations. Boss wants deadline 24 hours. I'm sorry, I'm going to give it to you 48 hours. Deal with it. But then you deliver quality, and it's consistent quality. Second is influence, but you have no control. So sometimes you can influence the outcome, but you have no control on the pressures that happen. Or you might get a call from your kids, I need to go for practice, I need to buy something. So that's outside your control, but you can influence your decisions along the way. And then the outside of the donut is no control, no influence. So forget about that. Throw that up there, surrender to the universe. The universe will find you a solution. So when you have positivity, and I prove this in my lifetime, that every time I expel positivity, solutions come to me. Always. And for that, I'm grateful. And you have to take a record, build a table of what it is that you're grateful for. Simple things like breath, food on the table, a good job, family, simple things. And you extend that list. And if you can, find a mantra. Again, back to the groove, very important. And everybody can find your happy. And my happy is #ChooseHappy. I live by that, I sell that, and every time I'm around people that are negative, I walk away. Again, that is your choice. Find your happy.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything about that. That was really good. Dom is next. He's going to talk to us about bias.
What if I was choosing to play the system and give you 15 times the same slide over the next 3 minutes? That would make my life much easier, but that would probably make you feel very uncomfortable, because I would break 2 of the biases that you have when you come to stream. The first one is the bias of fairness, that you expect me to play by the rules. It's stream after all. We're not there to cut the rules. The other one is a bias of optimism. I'm supposed to entertain you, not make you feel uncomfortable. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about biases and how they influence our decisions. In Inglourious Basterds, there's an American spy who's ordering 3 beers. Like that. The minute he orders 3 beers, all the Germans in the room know that he's not German. That's the cultural bias. Because in most European countries, that means free. That means free in the US, that means free in Europe. It's an unconscious bias. We don't control it, it's there. The second one is the Michigan fish test. If you come from a Western culture or from an Asian culture, especially Japanese, you're going to see 2 totally different images there. If you come from a Western culture, you're going to see 3 big fishes. If you come from an Asian culture, especially Japanese, you're going to see 2 little fishes going the other way, a snail and a little frog in the seaweed. And that is another unconscious bias. Another cultural bias. You identify me as a white person. These two wonderful human beings are my grandparents. They're anything but white. But your bias is to look at me and think, that's an Angmo, that's a white person. I'm not. I don't know which box to tick. Closer to us in the business world, that's the herd bias, especially when the boss is in the room. Your tendency to go with the flow and go with the most comfortable answer so that the harmony of the group is preserved. That one we all know, the confirmation bias. Very important when you talk with your spouse or your partner. You only listen to the information that confirms what you already decided before. You don't listen to the counter-argument. That one that all the street stall vendors know. If I set the right price at $15.99 and I give you a discount at $2.99, you people think you're doing a good deal. I know I'm doing a good deal because I have framed the bias differently. That one is the salience. I show you a visual and there's one thing that pops out in the visual, a big nose. If you look at it for 2 seconds, because apparently it's 2 seconds, you're going to see the nose, you're not going to see the rest. The other one is the loss aversion bias. How come I can charge more for an umbrella when rain is coming? Because that's when you actually need it. Next one, the ambiguity bias. Whenever I have an ambiguous question, I'm going to frame it in a way that the answer will be the most favorable outcome for me. I'm going to avoid the unfavorable answer. The last one, very important for all of those playing with artificial intelligence, the automation bias. We know the saying, the longer a series goes, the closest it is to its end. So we forget, when the series is about to end, we forget that all series end. The last one is called the restraint bias. It's the tendency to overestimate my capacity, especially valid for the French people, to exert restraint in the face of opportunity. You gave me the stage, I have to remind you that we are world champion.
Very good. I was up at all hours for the World Cup. So that's like 3 a.m. in Jakarta time. We have one more Ignite talk. Hera will come up and talk to us about design. Come on up.
Super nervous. Right, so I'm Hera from Opini ID. I'm the head of product. So I started my career as a graphic designer at advertising and branding agencies in Europe. I had the opportunity to work with all of these brands, and it was fun, it was cool, but then I was missing the debate about what is the relevance of design. So what is the use of it? So I started joining IBM, yes, 100 years old technology company. Next. So my first project at IBM was a CSR project from the Dutch government. It's to help the LGBT refugee to come up with a solution. And the first day of workshop, it was very intense. It got very personal. And the result is an app. Why is it an app? Because we want the refugee to find the relevant information without having to get in contact with the wrong person. Because if they're in contact with the wrong person, they could receive a death threat. So that was the first time that I received a feedback from my end user, not so much from my manager or from my client. And they said, it's useful. And my work is not being judged by how it looks or how pretty it is. So when I say useful, it doesn't mean that I have to do charity works. It can be commercial as well. It can be for different sector as well. It cannot be more commercial than this one. It's a project with 14 banks, with IBM, and we're trying to create one product together in trade finance. And the brief was, make it faster, make everything happen in one click. So I did that, I followed the brief, but then when we tested to the user said, it's too fast, I don't feel safe, because we're trying to compress a 6 months process into 1 hour. So they said, I don't feel like using it. So we had to redo it. And what I would like to say here, it's one of the biggest blockchain projects in the world, and it's one of the most expensive investment from IBM. But then eventually, at the end, it has nothing, it's no use if the user said, I don't want to use it. It's about the human, it's about the user, it's about empathy. But it's funny that we're treating empathy nowadays as a product. We could sell it. I joined a UX conference, I paid about 2 million rupiah, and then they're teaching me how to have empathy. And if we're talking about empathy, have you tried our nasi bungkus outside? It's from Opini. And when you had it, how do you feel? What do you feel? That is empathy. And I'm talking about designing for an impact. Another design for an impact is creating a content that is creating an impact. We had a content for a female driver. It's a Gojek driver. She's driving around with her kids, picking up her customer in Jakarta with 2 kids. And then when we created that content, we thought, hey, this is a quite serious issue. We had to highlight this. So we decided to create an offline activity. We create an open discussion, and it got attention from Gojek. So right now what happened is that Gojek will come up with a service for female drivers, like a sanitary room or a daycare, and we're quite grateful for that. So what I'm trying to propose here, let's try to rethink our metrics. What is success for us, and the way we measure the work value and impact of our work. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else see G-Man's ears perk up when she said blockchain? So that concludes all of our Ignite talks. So we are going to, before we transition to PowerPoint karaoke, which I know more of you want to do or are just too afraid to volunteer, Ken from Grab is going to sing us a song, as well as, it's like an experiential type music performance. Because he told me there's a gadget that is involved, I'm not sure. He's not sure, I don't know if he's ever performed live on stage before. That's kind of what happens at stream. I'm not singing. He's not singing, but if you want to come up and dance and give him some support, welcome. He has requested that the lights be dimmed, kind of like a la MTV Unplugged, Kurt Cobain style.
Where are you going, Justin? You gotta stay. Okay, this is a combination of stream things. It's stream, and it's like Gadgetathon meets extravaganza. Now we gotta dim the lights because it's like a conference in here. It's not cool. Come on, dim the lights, guys. It's an unconference, and unconferences have what? What do they have? Dim lights. That's right. I've actually not used before. Basically, I'm on stage playing with myself. Pause for effect. It's not really fun playing with yourself because, like, you can't really do stuff. No, it's not what you're thinking. So, this has something called a looper, which means that I could technically create my own sort of backing track and then play along. Oh, thank you. Terima kasih. So I've not used it before, but if you've been to a gadgetathon at Stream, you get to come up with a cool gadget and explain how it works, and then people get to vote and say, okay, this is a cool gadget. And since I'm the only one in Gadgetathon, because I just said we're going to have Gadgetathon now, I'm going to win. All right, let's give this a go. By the way, this is called the Zoom G3. Thank you. Man, this is a hard crowd. Woo. What? Reverb. Oh. try this. What you gotta do is you gotta apparently push this part, and then I need glasses. Okay. Why are the lights still bright? That's not what it's supposed to do. Okay. Okay. There we go. Can you clap?
Ladies and
clap in
gentlemen,
time.
please clap. Please clap.
All right. No. You gotta clap louder. So I'm gonna clear this, because I want to get this going. Why are the lights still bright? No.
In the words of Jeb Bush in the last campaign, please clap.
What does that even mean?
He said it.
Did he?
Yes.
All right. That's my gadget and my so-so performance. But we are now shifting to the best part of stream. You know what that is? What is it?
Extravaganza.
No, that was extravaganza.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That was extravaganza.
You win.
We are going to PowerPoint karaoke. Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah. I didn't know what to expect. So PowerPoint karaoke, you can still sign up if you want. It's all improvisational, so it doesn't matter if you don't know what's happening. You will get 10 slides, 15 seconds a slide. The speakers have no idea what is on the slides. You can go to the queue right there. We'll give you good slides. I just took a bunch of funny images and graphs from the internet, and it'll be randomized. I did not make it sexual this year because I was told that's not allowed. But it should be a good time. The first two girls, we have a couple tandems doing this. The first two girls, I've already forgotten their names. They introduced themselves as left brain and right brain. I remember that part. So if you want to come up here, we will load up the slides for you. And I don't know if I told you, but on these screens, we'll have a countdown of the 10 slides so you know where you're at. Oh, what we have to do, the most important part. Before every presentation, we have to give them a theme. So their presentation, yeah, that's how it works. Oh, no. Someone has to give them a theme. Horror. What? Horror. All right, run with it. Good luck.
Should have had more to drink.
Okay, so let's start with Instagram. We're going to take horror on Instagram since that's the theme.
It's the time when you come to stream and you post something and your CEO sees it, which he's not supposed to.
This is how we would like to be seen all
At
the time,
stream.
on every day.
Yes,
But
that's not necessarily reality.
We have enough of time.
This is where we've come.
This is where we've come. This is what we've shown. This is what we've put as hashtags as well. This is how stream
Hashtag
Indonesia looks.
Insta good.
And
But it's going to be horrifying because we're going for a sunrise and your message. This is my horror every day at work because I have to decide what the message is that goes up on billboards. Yeah,
You have
Ruchi?
more
And when I don't give you the creative, that's horror for you with the client.
This may be us
This is
right
what-
now, feeling like little babies
On
for
the
the first time doing
because
this.
we're clearly the guinea pigs.
I hope y'all are joining next, looking at y'all.
But it's cute. This is horror for when people think that NASA did not go to the moon. It's all photo theory, but maybe it's not. And wow.
Yes. This is horror, clear horror for us.
Yeah.
Thank you to Jessie for giving this to us.
Jessie's great. It's fun.
Oh my
Strategic change. This is the kind of stuff that gives me horror every day, and Rukshin makes these kind of slides every day at work. Thought and action.
Managing
Something that's not
change.
happening now.
Change. I mean, this is the biggest change for us right now. We don't know. We've not. Oh, wow.
What? 60% of the time, it works every time. My brain. Not working right now. It's the 40% of the time right now.
I think that the time has stopped now.
Fight. Fight. Animal fight.
This, I don't know. We can take Hussaina and I at work fighting over
Oh, yes.
something which is horrifying
Will you
every
give me
day at
enough
work.
time for this creative?
Yes, time versus no time
Time
available.
right now. Done.
Thank you.
Hey. Way to kick things off. I told you my slides are kind of weird. You got to be really creative. Okay, Daniel is going to come up. What will Daniel's theme be? Who's going to shout out a theme for Daniel? The Avengers. The Avengers?
Yeah, I guess.
You can incorporate Ranjana into the Avengers.
Okay, I don't know which one to pick. Both are very scary. Yeah. So yeah, you know, the Avengers are up, and it's a very exciting time. And I actually got the time to prepare for this, like how they prepare for fighting all the evil in the world. So I was talking to Captain America a couple of weeks ago, right? We were hanging out. If you've seen recently, he loves to eat at the Warung. And we were basically discussing when we saw the movie The Intern from Google, right? And he was saying, I'd love to spend some time with these guys just doing normal stuff instead of keep on punching people in the face, like this guy. This is exactly the kind of person that he would love to punch in the face. You know? His name is Captain America, after all, right? But alas, he has to spend time with Black Widow. And Black Widow makes him feel very incompetent in bed. That's it? And she asked me, really? That's it, Captain America? Compared to all the other superheroes I've done, you're somewhere in the bottom. Right? Nothing compares to the 100% the Hulk gives her every single time. And it's just amazing. But it's not just the Hulk that makes her happy. Just a little look under the skirt, you know, makes the Black Widow quite happy, and it can be any kind of cat. It can even be a Black Panther, for that matter. And obviously, there's competition for Black Widow. And that's what Captain America has been eyeing, this pretty lady. Captain Marvel, right? Captain America, Captain Marvel, what can go wrong? She'll burn your balls off. But in reality, she's a bit like a puppy, right? And obviously, when you're a parrot, and Black Widow sees you as a parrot, then you get confronted with, is this Taylor Swift? I guess. You get confronted with Taylor Swift, and you see puppies, and you just think, damn, how do these things match? But when Black Widow kills Taylor Swift, what happens, it just gets a little bit too much for poor Taylor. Thank you so much.
Very good. Poor Taylor Swift. Next up, we have Krishna. You are going to come up next, and then we are going to have, I think, 3 straight duos. So you can do this with a partner if you're too scared to do it alone. But this guy, he's got no fear after
I
this
like playing with
night
myself.
talk.
Oh, no, please, no, please. Fuck, no. No, piss off. No. No, fuck off. No. First love? Oh, Jesus Christ, no. Assholes. Good idea. Okay, let's go with assholes. We're going with assholes because everyone has one, right? So just like Justin Bieber, he's definitely an asshole, but anyway. So assholes are like opinions, right? Everyone has one, right? But what I find most fascinating about assholes is the fact that, you know, they match, right? It's not like fingerprints, right? Everyone's got an asshole that looks roughly the same. Puckered up little shit, right? And the shit comes out of it as well. And there are 2 assholes. So the thing is, that's cricket, for those of you who don't understand that. It's when all you can do is get out of the way of the ball, turn your asshole to it. That oh, fuck. So did I tell you about how he eats? Why he looks at that meatball like that? Because he once swallowed a billiards ball, and then it wouldn't come out of his asshole. So, oh. Now, tell you one guy who's not an asshole. That guy. Right? That's an example of someone who's not an asshole. Just to be absolutely clear. And this roughly looks like an asshole. That's the hole, and that's the sphincter, right? And the 7 P's of marketing is what your doctor puts inside it. Right? And when he pulls his hand out, roughly, that's what comes with it. Okay? So, who's the asshole now? Anyway, so there's an asshole who owns a company called SpaceX. Okay? And that's roughly the size of the thing he puts inside his asshole. Oh, that's disgusting. But, yes, most assholes on Wall Street are represented by this one character, right? The wolf of Wall Street. And that's him, right? And that glass represents the whole world. I'm not going to call the kid an asshole, but the kid's dad who let him walk into the glass door, he qualifies as an asshole. Thank you very much. You're going to get fucked for putting Mark Reed's picture in there.
Well, I'm sure by the law of probability that he might come up again. Next, we have Rajiv and Oops. I was told that everybody knows her as Oops.
Yeah, I know. Never heard that one before. Okay, the tag team thing might just be a disaster.
I've been forced into this.
I've been forced into this. Anyway, we'll see. Topic? Please, no mergers and acquisitions and things like that. Huh?
Be sensible, please.
I've been forced into? I've been forced into this. I've been forced.
आप decide करो.
मैं करूँ?
You decide, yeah.
Okay, I've been forced into this, is the theme. All right. No, I've not been forced into that. He's been forced into this.
Who the fuck is he?
We got to talk about this. Yeah.
He's been forced into holding a gun and holding a smoke. She's been forced into holding a Pepsi.
Oh my God, it's not going to work like that.
Look, I'm not the right person here, I can tell you that. Oops!
Oh, she's been forced into having 4 children now?
They both are forced to smile.
Who's that person?
God gave them a very nice nose.
No, that post. Oh, yesterday a lot of people were forced into that cooking thing, and I was forced into. I was not going to eat that. The judges were forced into eating it, and that's what these people look like. She was forced into those pants. He was forced into his. That one was stitched onto him. Is there anything you have to say about...
Now in the middle, this guy, what is he doing? What is he forced to do?
He's the force of...
Okay, things I do at work. What is this red thing? Mark email says red.
Oh my God. This tag
So,
team...
okay, so I'm every day forced to go to work because I have to pay mortgages.
Correct.
And yeah.
If I had to do something like that, I would be forced into it for sure.
This looks
Especially with
like
all
a
of
bigger
that.
asshole than Krishnan.
Okay.
I don't look, I'm down 10 whiskey and 5.
It's
I'm forced
definitely
to speak
looking
like
like he's
this.
been forced into this.
I'm forced to speak like this. This guy is forced to read our conversations, otherwise he cannot make any money.
Right.
He's,
And we are forced to deal with...
Who is this now?
He's not... The
Look,
mic's going to
I
be...
am into Indian classical, okay? Oops! Oops, 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 oops.
This mic...
Fonts you have, fonts you use. Are you forced to say something now?
I don't even know what I'm doing here.
I'm forced to drink my wine.
That was terrible. You
Thank
can
you.
say that.
You're forced to clap now. Fuck you.
It could have been worse. I don't know how, but it could have been. So we have another duo coming up. And they have requested a topic, marijuana, a weed. I don't know where this is going, but we're going to let them jam with it. Yeah, it's super illegal here. This is a special. This is special.
We didn't request that topic.
When you play the guitar for us, then you can request.
You
your
can
own
give
topic.
us a topic. You pick one.
Vote. We'll do. Why don't you give us one?
Give us a topic.
Give us a topic.
Any topic.
It's the same. Okay, weed.
Okay, weed.
All right, run.
All right, so this is where it all started. This is the farm. These guys were very, very clever about how they were growing, except the guy in the hat was kind of a problem because he's a cop. Yeah. But it's okay, we bribed him. This is where it all began.
So, weed is synonymous with cats. It always has been. If you smoke, you kind of get hungry and sort of see cats. The show.
Yeah, but sometimes you do stupid things when you're high. And I don't mean just high, because these people are very, very high in the air. But they're also very, very high. And what happens next is not pretty. Not at all. See?
Yeah, everything gets a bit blurry. Everything, and you try to make sense out of things, and it just doesn't make sense. But it's okay, because you're high.
But sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Come on, everybody.
Let it go.
Yeah, and that's okay, because it's about freedom. It's about
drinking. You get high, you drink more. It's good for the economy.
It's good for the economy. Yeah, precisely your point.
And it will bring us really high. Now, we were back talking about SpaceX. So this is NZSA. And
okay, never try this when you're high. In fact, never try this, ever. Because that helicopter, it's going to create a lot of dust. It's going to go into your eye. Yeah, that's why I would never try this.
But we really think it's going to be good for the economy. It's not just going to turn over boats and stuff like that. It's going to make people buy more grab food, because when they're high, they get hungry, and they buy more things. You think e-commerce on drunk people are good? E-commerce on high is going to be much higher.
Now, we hired Accenture, and they did this chart. Yeah. Yep, that's what they did. It cost us $150,000 million, but it's worth it.
It was $32 million, and we're suing them.
I'm still corralling people. Robbie, you're on your own this time. Sorry, buddy. This is your happiness for today.
I signed up because of him. Okay, be easy. All right, threesome. Yeah, that's a first.
Yeah, like 3 of us.
All right, this is
we
just
just
be
prepping for a disaster, I guess.
No, we'll do well.
I love it. The one person wearing heels is not me. Safety first, people. Safety first.
Okay.
I shall keep my phone here so that.
All right.
Let's go.
No, we need a topic. Yeah? Huh?
Do you know
Okay,
what?
threesomes.
Too many limbs. Way too many limbs. That is. Pardon? Boys.
Toys.
Toys.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Boys, toys.
Hell yeah.
Choice.
Toys.
Choice, boys,
Toys.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Playthings. Toys.
Okay.
All sorts.
Was that a comment?
All right. This is
Hold on,
this is
Or a theme.
exceeding stage time.
Was that a verb
Where's
or
the
a-
presentation?
All right,
verb
cool.
or a noun?
Yeah.
Toy boy. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, when we talk about toy boys, there's definition involved. So this could be an example. I'm not committing. Could be.
And our definition usually is
Well,
that.
Bearded
So
men
yeah.
are just more charming.
So when we look at the opposite of toy boys, we're looking at the silver fox. So would you go the abs or would you go for a man who has more experience?
Bearded men are charming. What can I say?
Two hands bring them together.
Yeah. And well,
No,
this
now
needs-
we're moving on to lesbians, and that's a whole different topic.
yeah. But then some contemplation required. Think.
Some planning required.
Yeah. Ooh. Now this is a whole
I
different.
guess that's the planning that's required, usually, when you're talking about boys and toys.
Yeah.
Rock, who's the rock, who's the scissors.
But that usually solves things like adults. Or you could do this.
Yeah.
Different kind of competition on solving problems. On how we define toy boys or boy toys.
And you just,
Kick a ball around.
yeah. And it can be attached to a person or not. Or you can do that, and that can be attached to a person or not.
Christian slides creeping in.
Yeah.
Stop interfering with ours.
And that's how you feel after you've done that, I guess.
Perhaps, but then, when you're high, like Joe suggested,
I would say sometimes you're the audience, sometimes you're the bike rider.
Yeah. And sometimes you're as high as that, and that's when, I guess, you're an asshole.
but that's like the Toy Boy announcement, right? That's when it's
So
waiting for this
what-
guy to arrive, and she's making an announcement. So
Well,
perhaps he's the one.
Or
Do you think?
never wear a suit.
On a yacht?
Yeah.
Perhaps. But he looks cool. We'll need a spreadsheet. Fill in some tables.
And that's how you
Do some
don't
analysis.
get toy boys
Yeah.
when there is that much talking involved.
Exactly.
I would say this is how you sell a plan to a client, which then moves into the creative process.
All right.
And
Like we
have our
said, this
toy
was a
boy.
disaster. Thank you so much.
There's a first time for 3 people on stage.
Not only that.
You guys did great.
Of course.
You were the best threesome we had on stage. Next up, I have got Nick and Rohit to come up here. They had no idea they were going to do this up until 30 seconds ago. And they're bringing their own beverages. Diva left.
Let's go. We need a theme. Adult toys. That was my suggestion. Something else. Topic. Come on. Okay, adult toys, let's go.
What is the topic? Familiar?
No, adult toys.
Adult toys, okay.
Familiar is not an adult toy. So, speaking about essential, there are some toys that are meant for adults and some toys that are meant for kids.
Essential is one of those toys that are meant for kids.
Maybe, we're not saying, we cannot confirm or deny.
I know.
But we know some toys that are definitely meant for adults.
I know. And that's Hooters.
No. We are meeting wholesome family restaurants.
That's right.
Only wholesome family restaurants.
With wholesome entertainment.
Wholesome entertainment.
Very wholesome.
Yeah. And sometimes, guys like to really be the toy. Be an adult and be the toy. Like, you gotta embrace it.
And
What do you do at 7 a.m.?
I embraced my
Inner adult
inner
toy.
adult,
right?
yeah.
Correct. And sometimes, as an adult, you go straight up, or sometimes you know.
Yeah. I mean, it happens with the best of us.
Yes, it does.
And that's quite a good cure for when that happens.
Oh man, sometimes we make mistakes. We're sorry. As adults, we do make mistakes like kids.
It's
But we
okay.
gotta face the consequences, right?
Right.
What are
and
the
that-
consequences?
We introduce them to digital media.
Oh my God, digital, that's a dirty word.
I know.
Didn't you listen to what Mick Boss said?
And then I introduced one of my cousins to Snapchat,
Uh-huh.
and I regret that now.
Yeah, but you know, speaking about adult toys, you know, sometimes what woman wants and what woman says, it's a bit flabbergasting because as men, we are a bit confused.
That's
As
right.
we all know the hot crazy matrix,
Uh-huh.
that you know the perfect woman, it's somewhere on the chart, but we are never good for charts, right?
Yeah, or we can replace the woman with a really nice sex toy.
No.
That is what that was.
I
that-
think you're a supervillain. We got to
Really?
get someone to fix you up.
Maybe it might be her. I don't know.
It might be her.
Or it
Or
might be
her.
them.
Oh, them.
You never. I think all you need in life is like good friends to like fix you
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Look, they're very happy. They definitely have some adult
Chemistry,
toys
yeah.
to accompany them.
I'm so happy.
Right.
Thanks, guys. So that will be the final PowerPoint karaoke unless anybody wants to volunteer last minute. No? Hands? All right. Desi, it's your turn to end the shindig.
Thank you, Jesse, and round of applause for everyone who joined the extravaganza and also the Ignite. Like I said, you might think you're talented. Other people may not think you're talented, but as long as you think you're talented, and that's okay. So round of applause for everyone who's really talented and the ones who think they are talented, right? Okay, round of applause, everyone. Not loud enough, not loud enough, not loud enough. No. I hope you're having the best of times at Stream. Did you meet a lot of new people? When you meet new people, do you introduce your name? No? Because like, I introduced Anurag to my friend. I said, Arif, meet my partner. And then my partner said, Arif, and he says, nice to meet you. Anurag, are you not even gonna say your name? So he just says, nice to meet you. So when you meet new people, make sure you say your name, not just smile and nod, not just say, nice to meet you, Anurag, okay? So when you meet new people, what do you say? What do you say? Anurag, what do you say? What? Huh? Don't you know me? You all should know me by now. By now, you should know me as much as you know Ranjana. True? Yes. Okay, so I'm not, anybody counted how many times I insulted Ranjana? Yes, Dipan? 7 times? You definitely lose. Definitely lose. 100? That's only on stage. What about off stage? What about rolling eyes? That also counts, right, Ranjana? When Ranjana says things, I roll my eyes, and Dipan says, is that it counted? Yes, that counts. Ranjana, do you think 100 is even close? Never. Anybody else have a guess? Because Ranjana promised a prize, right? And she's looking for a prize right now in her purse. Yeah. Anybody else has a guess how many times I insulted Ranjana on stage? Off stage? 3,000. I'm not going to do any spoilers. 271. Is that close? 359. Is that close? Not even close, Ranjana says. This side, are you going to participate at all? No. 672. Maybe close enough? She just said 672 and you said lower than that. Do you understand how this thing works? Do you? Do you not? You don't know. 1,062. Do you even have a prize, Ranjana? Is the prize only pride or is it a real thing? Oh, there's only one way to find out. You only got one guess. Anybody from the back? Near the bar? You don't do free drinks. You have to answer something. Duri, you have any answers? He already said 1,000. Do people actually understand how this thing works? Like, seriously. Sorry, what? No proper insult. Actually, somebody from WPP says they can do a better job mocking you than me. I'm not going to name names, but maybe he wants to do it next year. Oh, I'm not. Oh, if I say the name, you will not be here next year, says Ranjana. Okay. So I think 1062, it might be the closest. So I'm going to give the stage to Ranjana. Let her give her final words and see if she actually has a prize. Give it up for Ranjana, everyone.
Thank you, Daisy. Thank you for the 1,800 times that you insulted me. You're the winner. And the wonderful gift is you get invited to stream next year again. Told you there was a prize. So I'd like to end stream by thanking all of you again, as I did when I opened stream. It's been absolutely wonderful having each and every one of you here. And as I said, stream is only as good as the people who attend and how much they participate. I hope you all enjoyed it. I definitely did. Learned a lot of new things, met a lot of wonderful people, and I'm sure when I go back, a lot of it will come back and we'll do something with it. So it was great having you. I'd just like to first start off by thanking our wonderful sponsors again. And as I say out their names, will they please stand up and remain standing? So thank you to our sponsors, Ad Colony, BizNet, Comscore, thank you, Joe, for standing. Can you please keep standing? Daily Social, Endus, Famous, Google, Hybrid, IDN Media, Indofood, Inmobi, Cascos, KLY, Compass, Gramedia, Kumparan, Curio, Line, LinkedIn, Opini, Telkomsel, The Trade Desk, UC Browser, Video, and Wangal. Can you please keep standing? We'd like to thank, as always, the hotel. Please stay standing. Thank you, Daisy. Panur, if you're here, thank you to you and your absolutely wonderful team. It's always like coming back home. Payudi, Fitri, Atta, Chef Vayan, who put up with all the wonderful first-time cooks yesterday, and all the hired staff. A special thank you to the EO, Queen Production, Ibudina, if you're here. If you're outside, please come in. Andi, Pugu, Vishnu, Megan, the LO team, and the registration team. Sorry, you'll have to keep standing. Can I have all the directors of stream on stage standing? Can I have all the people who led and participated in the discussion stand up? Anyone who was involved in the midnight cooking madness, would you stand up, please? All those who participated in extravaganza this evening, please stand up. Dominique, you took part in extravaganza. Anyone who attended the morning fitness sessions, can you please stand up? No one did. What else did we have? Those who went to discussions, contributed in any way to discussions, can you please stand up? Those who just met new people, introduced themselves with or without their names, can you please stand up? This is what Stream is, where everyone participates and everyone contributes to it. Thank you all very much, and I hope we'll see a lot of you back again next year. Thank you to this wonderful team who made it happen. Oh my God, I forgot to thank the person who insulted me the most. Thank you to a very special repeat MC. Thank you very much. I'm sure you'll be here next year again. Thank you. Do the nervous laugh again.
That's my nervous laugh. Be here again next year. Okay, so it's a wrap? It's a wrap, but it's not. It's only a wrap in the ballroom because we still have an after party where they have provided lots of drinks, right? Kok biasa aja? Lots of drinks, right?
We have a proper DJ this year, so please don't tell the DJ to go home.
Yes. We have an... because we have several instances where we replace the DJ with Spotify. We have a instance where we unplug the cable, and we had the instance where we sent the DJ home. So this year we learned so much from the few previous years, and we hired a good one.
Don't jump in the pool and drown.
Don't jump in the pool. And what else is this year? Anjana's going to do a special dance for us this year at the after party. Of course. So everybody please head on to the pool side. Drink your asses off, but stay off the pool or we'll be exempted from Hyatt for last year. So thank you very much. Round of applause for everyone and for the stream team. And see you in stream 2020. Bye-bye, everyone. See you downstairs.